Okay, listen. We need to have a little talk here, all right? And I'm talking to the gamers and the ugh, God, I hate using this word, but influencers out there. What's with the whole thing of putting LEDs in your room? I'm sorry, I just maybe I'm a fucking grandfather now at this point, but I don't get it, and it makes me mad. I don't know why. I'm being unreasonable and I'm playing it up for a dramatic effect, of course. But seriously, like every person, you look at any gamer, game reviewer, streamer, any of those people, back in our day, the thing was usually behind you. You had like all your Nintendo games, because you're a retro gamer, and that was the cool thing, right? Guys would have all their games behind their streams, so it's like, look at all the shit that I have. I'm a nerd, and a lot of guys still do that. But now the big thing, they still do a little bit of that, but the big thing is just always lights, just either obnoxious RGB or they have to have like the LED strips around their room, and it's a huge trend with kids. Like I know the kids want it in their rooms, and it just ah, good lord, like I cannot stand it. I can't fucking stand it because to me it's obnoxious. All right, if I'm going to my bed and I'm going to sleep, it's sleep time. I'm turning off the fucking lights. All right, I don't need purple, green, changing lights going on all around me, and I don't need that for my aesthetic. Like, can you read a book in that fucking room? No, you can't. You can't do anything in that room. It's just I don't know why. I get unreasonably angry at it, but it's just such a trend, and I see everybody doing it now. Even people who used to not do it, they're all hopping on that bandwagon because it's like the cool thing to do now. And just I don't know. Maybe I'm an old man, but to me, it's too much. I can't stand. I'm also adverse to light. I'm kind of a vampire, so it could be that. I don't know. I'm gonna stop getting angry about lights, guys. I promise. Roll that podcast. Welcome everybody back to Not Rich Just Bored, episode number 105. Yeah, I know. I got mad about lights. All right, I'm over it now. Okay, it's just I don't know. I'm like literally a hipster. I think at this point, I just don't like trendy things. Maybe that's my biggest problem, but I don't know. I just I see it, and now you're gonna like. I'm telling you, if you're not a fan of it, if you don't like those lights, or if you don't do it, or maybe you do it, I don't care. But just look around, reels, TikTok, anything. Look at any person doing gaming content or gaming news, anything like that. Just look at their webcam. Always got to have the fucking purple lights or the blue lights, and it just makes me want to choke them out. I don't know. It's just who I am, man. I'm just intolerant. You guys know that. You've been listening for a while, and if you haven't been listening for a while, welcome to the Intolerance Podcast. I'll be your host, Cody. But I don't know. It's not much has happened this week. Honestly, it'll be a shorter episode, I'm sure. It's mostly just been people crying still about Palworld. Like, get over yourselves, you idiots. And there's lots of people trying to deconstruct it still and figure stuff out. It's like, guys, just get over it. They made a banger. I think they're at 19 million downloads now. Like, that's insane. I'm gonna actually look it up real quick. How many downloads? Because the last X thing I saw was 19 million. Palworld downloads. It's like the fastest selling game ever. Okay, how many, for fuck's sakes? Oh, excuse me. Okay, that's on Xbox. Okay, it's not fucking showing anything. Yeah, the last one it says 19 million on here. But by the time I upload this podcast, it'll probably be 20. But either way, it's a very successful game. If you're butthurt that it's come out, it's really fun. I mean, that's really on you. Me and my brother have been playing it nonstop, and we're really getting into it. It's just fun. It's a fun game. It's a neat concept. It brings back exploration. It does the buildings thing really good, really well, rather. It's it's just a fun game. And the reason I got so like butthurt about people getting mad about it was because they wouldn't be doing it unless the franchise that they were slightly, inspired by, maybe a little bit, maybe a lot of it, was so popular. It's a very popular franchise, Pokemon, so it's it is what it is. Anything that is very popular will have a bunch of haters on it. So I don't know. I'm having fun with it. I highly recommend anybody to play it. We've only encountered one little glitch. Apparently, there's some multiplayer glitches where you can't join games. It's been really tough. But me and my brother only had that once, and then we were able to finally join up with each other, and that kind of solved it. But yeah, so good job, Palworld. Keep it up. the The other problem I've noticed, this we're moving on from Palworld, is have you guys noticed that we're just getting microtransactioned out the ass? It's actually ridiculous. So, like growing up, when you want a TV, right? You had TV, cable, or if you're really fancy, you had satellite. And I didn't pay for satellite or cable because I wasn't, um, I wasn't the grown up at that time. But I think it was probably $100 for satellite at the time a month, and I did have TV a little bit when I first moved out on my own, but it was part of my Shaw bill, so it was like I don't know. It was I think my TV bundle was like an extra $60 a month, and it was just digital cable, so you know it was local and some HD channels, nothing too crazy, but still $60. But now TV's kind of gone away. Not a lot of people do it. It's just not very popular amongst the new generation. Because our whole thing was, well, Netflix is so much cheaper and all this stuff, right? And it's better. It has the stuff we want right now. We can watch it whenever we want, and it's right at our fingertips. And that's kind of where it went. It was just very convenient. But now it's getting to the point where they kind of have realized what they have. They realize that they got everybody by the balls for this stuff. So they've been raising the prices. Everybody, like Prime Video just went up, and Netflix has gone up steadily over the years. They have like an ad tier now, which is just cancer. And Prime is doing that now too. They have you either pay $3 extra a month for your Prime membership, or you have to watch ads on Prime Video, which to me is just I have no words. It's just cancer. I I understand they have service to keep up with and all that stuff, but you're Amazon, man. You're good to go. You got lots of capital. You don't need to do that to people, but here we are. It's just all this stuff. We used to say like, "Oh, cable's so expensive," but with everything you have nowadays, your Spotify, your Netflix, your Prime, your Hulu, your Disney Plus, God forbid you're an idiot and you subscribe to that, you know, that's $50 a month if they were $10 a month, which most of them aren't anymore. Again, I'm talking Canadian dollars here. This is a Canadian podcast, all right? Soon to be number two. Well, number one podcast in Canada, number two in the world, you know, next to the old JRE. Speaking of which, Joe Rogan just actually renewed his Spotify contract for $250 million. But there's something interesting. He's not going to be exclusive to Spotify anymore. Supposedly, that's what I heard. He's going to be able to put his podcast out anywhere, which is really weird to me because why is I guess it's just the advertising for like Spotify's the number one. I don't know, but the exclusivity was kind of the pudding, right? That was the pudding to the deal. That's why they paid him so much, and now they're paying him more to go to other platforms. But I don't know. Maybe it's just like Spotify's his main one. I don't know. I think it probably had something to do with Joe because Joe really doesn't need Spotify, to be honest. It's great. It's gravy, right? But I think he just wanted to go to that because he has a lot of friends that have iPhones and they want them to be able to get it on Apple Music or wherever where do you get podcasts on Apple? I am not familiar with Apple at all. like at all. I'm not in that ecosystem at all because I just don't like it at all. Sorry, but it's just the truth. I think it's just the most. The iPhones are pretty. I'll admit that they look nice, they function nice, sure, but the whole Apple ecosystem is just. It's not what I'm about. I don't like it, but you talk to my brother. He's an Apple fanboy. Well, he's not an Apple fanboy, but he has an iPhone, so he's in. He might as well be. But either way, I think Joe just wanted to diverse the podcast probably and get it out to other platforms, and he just kind of knows that he could flex their arm too because he is the number one podcast in the world. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that for the old Spotty. So, but if Spotify wants to come to me with a deal, I'm down with the dark iron, as they say. But I, oh my god, yeah. So going back to the old, the microtransactions. It's funny because we complain about them in gaming, but in real life, in our everyday lives, it's happening too. Like I said, there's all these little nickels and dimes, and even your bills. It's really blew my mind actually the other day. The electric company, like the company that I get my uh, electricity from, they said you can pay an extra $3 a bill because I just renewed a contract with them, and they said if you want to pay an extra $3 per bill, we will we will promise that it's like 20% of your energy comes from renewable resources. And I just thought, no, are you fucking kidding me? You guys are so scummy. Like that is such a bullshit. It's obviously a cash grab, right? Well, it's just $3, man. It's cool. It's environmental. Look, you get renewable energy. How in the fuck can they do that? How do they do that? I mean, if there is a way, you guys should tell me. But from a logic standpoint, no. It can't be like, yeah, this guy paid the extra $3 a month. Send the renewable, the windmills, divert that power right to his house. Well, sorry, 20%. Just 20%. Divert that to his house. No, it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. It's just a little cash grab. Because it's just $3. But if 10,000 people sign up for that bullshit clause for $3, that's $30,000 right there for nothing, for just extra. And again, their whole promise is like, well, your energy will come from a renewable resource. But it's like, I don't know about that. That sounds like bullshit to me. I got some alarms going off in my head. But either way, I think, I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. I hate how every company is trying to scam you with that little micro, like that's what I call them, microtransactions, just little subscriptions. I'm just tired of subscriptions. Oh yeah, this is something we have to talk about because uh, I'm a huge fan of disc golf. You guys know this. If you've been listening for a while, you know that. I actually went. It's middle of fucking winter here, but it was nice enough that we actually had a round the other day. It was in the snow still, but it was like +5. So we're like, whatever. I'm itching for some disc golf. Let's go. So we did it. It was lots of fun. But this year, I'm saying that I am not renewing my UDisc subscription because UDisc, if you guys don't know, UDisc is the service that disc golfers can pay for. Well, there's a free version. There is a free version, but the paid version you get, it's basically a platform where you keep score. You can keep score your rounds. It has every course in the world that's registered with the PDGA appears on their app, so you could check where the holes are. You could check how long they are. It's got the stats on the course. It's got reviews. It's a really handy app. It's really nice. And for scorekeeping, it's really nice. You can just keep your round on there and keep track of your, instead of using paper and pencil like a fucking troglodyte. So the premium version, you get access to videos of tournaments and all this other stuff, which I don't really use because I'm not gonna fucking watch videos through your app. I'm sorry. If I want to watch PDGA or something, I'll look it up on YouTube. I'm not I'm not doing it through your fucking embedded video player. Sorry, you disc. I don't take you that seriously. I just like the course information and the scorekeeping. Thank you very much. But either way, why am I talking about this? Because UDisc is a bunch of fucking shitheads. They in 1 year, it used to be, I think it was $20. Might have been even cheaper. Might have been $10. No, I think it was like $16.99, something like that. But I always round up in my head because I'm like, oh, it's close to 20. You know, 19.99 is $20. Your salesman game's not working on me, dummy. But yeah, UDisc, I think it was about 16, almost $17 a year for the premium version. And in the premium version, like I said, you get access to the videos, you get unlimited scorekeeping. So whereas the normal scorekeeping on the free app, I think it's deleted after a week or a month or something. But yeah, with the premium, you get your scorekeeping forever, so you can keep track, which is really cool. It's just cool to look back on, honestly. But what they did last year, this is the end of the season last year, so I still had my premium subscription. I still have it till this August, technically, because I pay for the full year. But it they quadrupled their price in 1 year. Like, you know how Netflix, like, oh, our subscription's $13 a month. We're jacking her up to 16 a month. Sorry about that. But no, Udisc was like, fuck you guys. And they quadrupled the fucking price. So it went from, it's about $60 a year now. And again, I know for a lot of people being like, well, $60 a year is not terrible either. But it doesn't matter. First of all, there's one thing. For us, it's not. Hello, first of all, from Canada. But I don't know if you know. Talked about it a couple times, maybe. It's been brought up in the news, I'm sure, but it gets really cold up here. Very cold. So we only get to disc golf about 6 months of the year, if we're lucky. So the rest of the year, it's like cold or just cold enough that you don't want to go the fuck outside or it's too wet. So we don't get the full, if you're in California, yeah, whatever, $60 a year. You get to disc golf 24/7, whatever. It's fine. But like, yeah, up in the frozen north, we only get 6 months of that app. So that makes it more gross. And also, it's just the principle of it. It's really not that deep of an app. It's just a fucking scorecard at the end of the day. That's really all it is. And they could have had a bunch of us guys forever, for fucking life. Because it's a good app. It functions great. But they quadrupled it. Like, there's no reason to quadruple your price. Like, what if Netflix said tomorrow, yeah, we're going to quadruple our price? Like, the price of Netflix is going to be like $60 a month. You'd say, go fuck yourself. I'm out of here. I mean, it will get incrementally bigger, eventually. And I wouldn't be mad at them for adjusting inflation, Like, if it's $17, if they jacked up to 20, I'd be like, I'm not going to hurt you. It's fine. Not happy about it, but it's fine. But like, going from like $20 a month or $20 a year rather to $60, that's, sorry, they tripled their price, I guess. But I think it was about 16, $17. So it's almost quadruple. But either way, ridiculous price hike. And it's because those cucks, they know that they have the market cornered. That's why they did that. Because there's no other, to my knowledge, that is. If you guys know an app where you can keep score on, please tell me, because I want it. But they know they have the market cornered because they're really the only ones. And like any disc golfer, they all use UDisc. But I'm not going to be renewing my subscription. Fuck you guys. It's the same with the whole Blizzard thing, with their whole Diablo 3 debacle, or Diablo 4 rather. I'm done. I'm done with those guys. I'm not supporting them anymore. That's what people need to start doing as consumers. They need to stop supporting. Everybody complains about Call of Duty, but everybody keeps buying Call of Duty. Everybody complains about Pokemon, but they keep buying Pokemon. And I mean, I haven't bought a Call of Duty or Pokemon for ages, but you know, I did buy Diablo 4, the deluxe edition, because I thought they were telling the truth. I thought they had changed, but no, it's the same bullshit. So, and on the Diablo 4 train, there's actually a game called coming out in full release soon called Last Epoch. I've been playing the beta release for quite a while. It's pretty fun. Well, I played it a couple times with friends, but that really scratches the Diablo 2 itch for sure. And I'll definitely be playing it. I might play it on stream, but we'll see. I really I looked at the channel today on YouTube, and I haven't uploaded a gaming video or any other video in like 8 months. I'm like, oh my god, it's way too long to be dry. But I just honestly, I have not had much time or ambition to do anything other than the podcast. It's been kind of crazy, really. It really has been crazy. But I need to finish that tangent I was on. Yeah, fuck you, Disc. You will not be getting my money this year, and I hope you were happy because there is every disc golfer that I know that I've talked to, they are not getting it either, and they are not fucking happy about it because you guys are bullshit. Tripling the price in 1 year, like disgraceful. Either way, moving on from that. Like I said, people, when it comes to all these kinds of, when it comes to all these companies and all the game devs that everybody hates, you just gotta stop buying their stuff. That's the best way to stick it to them, you know? Hold on, I gotta sneeze. I'm gonna sneeze. Ooh, sorry about that. I turned off the mic for that one because that would have been like all those memes about dad sneezes where it's like they blow down half of they blow down half the fucking building. That's how my sneezes are. They're absolutely abhorrent and a little embarrassing. But either way, the day moves on. Uh so yeah, it's just that's my advice to everybody. If you want these gaming companies to change, if you want any company to change, stop buying their shit. Stop feeding into their bullshit. Cause that's what I'm doing. I'm not buying any of this bullshit if they're have an exorbitant price or they're not putting any effort in. Fuck you. That's what I say. Especially Blizzard. I'm really done with Blizzard and I play their Warcraft Rumble, their little mobile game, but I don't spend any of my real money on it, so I don't feel bad. Oh my god. That I just had like a burp snarf there because the sneeze made me like yawn uncontrollably. But yeah, so other than that, yeah, like I said, there really hasn't been much going on. On a personal note, from the personal side of things, I don't want to get into it too much, but my father did just have heart surgery. He had it was I think he went in for a triple bypass surgery originally on his heart, and then when they were in there, they ended up doing 6 bypasses, which is absolutely insane to me. But they got him out of the operating room, and he's doing well so far, which is good. And he came back to it. He video called my sister, and he said there's orange and yellow men climbing up the walls, which is concerning, but that's what those drugs do to you. So they give you the really good stuff. And she got a picture of him on the video call, and he looked super out of it. So it's really funny. But it really, for me, this whole thing that's been going on has really put things in perspective for me about the future. And just, I mean, it's always been there, right? I've always had that same perspective of cherish people you have, but even then, it's just you don't think about it. You don't think about calling people all the time. You don't think about messaging people, or if they're like, my dad lives far away from me. He lives about 5-6 hours away. So I can't just go over to his house on any given Sunday. But I try to do what I can to contact him, and he comes down and sees us, and it's nice. But it's a far drive, and just the economy's been shit. It really has been. Living paycheck to paycheck is rough. And, I really want this economy to pick up so people actually have some money to do stuff with and to go places. It's actually like concerning, but either way, it's just, it just when stuff like this happens and, because every surgery there's risk, especially major surgeries like heart and brain, there's always risks. So, you know, that could have been the last time that we saw him. It could have been. It wasn't, thank God, but it could have been. And that puts everything into perspective that you need to stop taking everything so seriously. Start doing things you like and just don't waste any aspect of your life and make sure you tell people that you love them. Tell the people you love that you love them and be there for them as much as you can. Again, if they live far away, we got video calls now, we got FaceTime, we got everything. We got lots of shit to, you can feel the connection no matter how far away. But it's just, you know, it just, I think a lot of people take people for granted and they really, and it's no fault because life happens and people get busy and that's just kind of how it is for everybody. But this one, I really, because I know I got a call from my sibling and they're like, we need to talk. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, what's going on? And then they're like, you need to phone dad. And I'm like, oh, God, what is going on here? And then when I got on a call with him and he told me about surgery, I'm like, oh, my God. Because, I know he's having issues and he had some shortness of breath and all that, but high blood pressure, I think, too. But, he had some problems going on, but I didn't know how bad it was. But, obviously it was bad enough to warrant surgery, but, he got through it. And that's one thing I'm really happy about this week. And I'll be thankful for the rest of eternity. It's it's always scary going for surgery. So I'm glad that he made it through like a champ. And, you know, I still think it'd be cool to have him on the podcast sometime. He doesn't even know I have a podcast, to be honest. But I think it'd be funny to get him on here. Maybe get him to tell some stories about the old days and we get some perspective that way. Because that's another thing too, is like I feel like people don't talk about people don't talk to their parents. Like people who are listening to this, when's the last time you asked your parents about what it was like to grow up? You know? What was your first crush? What was your first love? We don't ask our parents these things because it's kind of weird, right? Because they're your parents. You just don't really talk that way. At least most families don't. I'm sure there's some fucking weirdos out there that do. But, I think it is interesting to get their perspective from their generation. And, you only have a limited time to do that. So you should seize the opportunity. And unfortunately, time comes for us all. Nobody is immune to time. Eventually, it will take all of us. So I feel like I'm getting a little dark here. So we're probably going to end it soon. But I don't know. It's been a week and that's why I hope this podcast in some way was cohesive because my mind is kind of racing to a million topics right now. And I've got other shit going on, but it's just, you know, there hasn't been much going on this week as far as podcast topics, but there's been a lot going on in the old personal life. So, sometimes the two have to intermingle. But I'm just telling you guys from me and my family to all you guys listening, just call your dad if you have one. If you're lucky enough. If you're lucky enough to have one or have one that's still alive. Because we all technically have one, unless we were artificially inseminated or our mothers were artificially inseminated, rather. But even then, you still have a dad. It's just a donor. But unless you were born in a lab like Cell from Dragon Ball Z, you have some form of dad. But if you're lucky enough that he's around and he's alive, just call him. Just tell him you love him. And yeah, do that with all your family members. Always keep close. So either way, I'm gonna stop rambling here because I'm like I said, I'm so brain dead right now. It's just been such a roller coaster of a week. So thank you guys so much for listening. As always, I really appreciate the support. We've been seeing a few more faces on the old YouTube. That's really awesome. I l- oh my I lost my mouse. I love to see it. There's 35 guys on there now. Looks like we just had a new one. Magic Cat 91. Thanks for subbing uh to the YouTube. And Mess or Wes Mealing rather. Welcome. But yeah, it's really cool to have everybody and everybody's support and picking up a little bit of steam. That's cool. It really does, it gives me a little bit more encouragement during these kind of, you know, more darker times in life. So thank you guys as always for listening. Remember, links to all social media in the description below, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.